Show. I'm Ron Furman, and you're not. Today's show, we have something very amazing. We're going to go now to camera two. We have Noah Grad here. Noah, you've been an amazing guest. You've come on the show a few times.
Thank you.
And it's so lovely to have you here. People are probably asking about the pillows and why we have it.
Well, we're hiding our fat.
We're hiding our fat. I think that we both feel uncomfortable. No, I really need something. I feel like we need a table or something here to make something a little bit better. So this way I don't know, the arms move a little bit nicer. Thank you very much for tuning in. Happy Sunday to all of you. Want to wish my mom a very happy birthday.
Happy birthday!
She is 60 years young. I'm sorry for giving her age
very
away,
young.
but it's just weird for me that she's 60 years old. You know?
She's young.
I know, but she's...
Isn't your sister older than you?
No, my sister's younger than me.
Okay, so you're the old one?
I'm the old one. Yeah.
She's young.
I don't know. I just feel weird saying my mom is 60.
Aren't you like 100?
I'm 95. That's correct. Today's show is going to be regarding the Prickly Corner, which is something that Noah and I developed. And the idea behind it is to really deal with controversial issues. So part of the problem that we've been having with the show is that we're dealing with controversial issues and kind of stopping and moving on to the next thing, or we've talked for too long. And I don't want the show to be an hour long where we're dealing with one issue, so we figured we're just going to have this thing called the Prickly Corner, where Noah and I will sort of debate each other. Hopefully she won't cry, and and the conversation could be fun. So hopefully most of you are excited about what's up and coming. We do have the 3 cameras now. We're slowly learning about how to use it. We have Anthony in the back here. Round of applause for Anthony. Anthony's pressing all the buttons, making sure that all the cameras are functioning. We also have new audio that's coming in, so please let us know whether the audio is working better than last time and whether the internet is also working well. I'd like to start off also by thanking our sponsor. So thank you to ENS Plumbing. For all your plumbing needs, you need always a plumber that you can trust. So call Eric Gelman at ENS Plumbing 416-821-4441. Again, sorry, that's 416-821-4441. The information is also behind us. It's going to be at the bottom. I think bottom over there.
The plumber I would call if I need a plumber.
There you go. So, definitely. But Eric is a great guy.
Yeah.
He's been in the business for a very long time, him and his father. So it's, Thornhill based. So for any of you who are looking for a plumber, please call again, 416-821-4441. And that's ENS Plumbing. All right. So now let's get on with the show.
Sure.
Today's topic is sort of battle of the sexes. But it's not necessarily battle of the sexes because we're going to be talking a little bit more with regarding to the genders, themselves. Today, we're having a situation in, I think, Canadian society or Western society where, people don't even want to admit that they're either sex, right? Or they want to say that we are the same type of sex. There is no real difference. And I think we agree, when we talk off screen on this issue, I think it's something we need to bring to the forefront.
Sure, and we would love to get everybody's input as well.
Absolutely. It is really about you guys giving us the input, having that conversation, asking those questions, because guaranteed one of us or both of us will get you pissed off today. Because we do have opinions. I don't consider myself sexist by any means, but I'm sure that some of the things that I still think about, meaning like what is a proper home when it comes to man and woman, to some may seem sexist. I may call it a little bit old-fashioned, but I don't think there's something wrong with the fundamentals of old-fashioned. So we're going to bring up some topics. So the first thing I'm thinking about is actually I want to ask you whether you feel that it's been a good thing or a bad thing that women are sort of trying to become like men. And when I say like men, I don't mean in the workforce, because clearly if you're doing a job that a man is doing, you should be paid exactly the same. There shouldn't be any difference. But we're talking about women who are trying to, kind of like, all the years that they've been behind, kind of trying to push the man's role away, or men today don't feel as manly. And I know that we can definitely get into it, but what are your thoughts on it?
I love this topic, but I'd like to start off by saying that I don't judge anybody who goes off to work or stays home to take care of their family. Mm-hmm. I think as a mom and as a woman, you have to make the decisions that are right for you. However, you cannot deny that past history has also developed the best human beings that are sitting on Earth right now.
Right.
Right? The development of literally everything came from generations of the past, not so much the generations of the future anymore. Mm-hmm. And by that I mean Like, if you're talking about even as impressive as Elon Musk, right? His parents grew up in a more conservative, sort of one parent stays home, right? Same thing with Steve Jobs. It's those generations that has sort of developed those that we,
We trust right now.
We trust.
Okay.
We look up to. We admire. Right? Like we try to pursue the same type of
Right.
like future that they have.
Today,
right?
though, we see a lot of families that have one parent, especially a mother, taking care of the kids.
Correct.
We see this. I don't want to sound racist or anything, but in sports, in the African American community, you're seeing a lot more celebrities, basketball stars or whatnot, who grew up with one parent, a mother that was kind of there for them.
And I mean,
and that's all they knew, and they turned out to be amazing.
For sure.
Parents
and again, it's not. I don't think it matters, and I don't think you can categorize anything specifically that is one better than the other, or that one type of family is better than the other.
Right.
However, I would like to say and stress out that it's always been the proof in the pudding, per se, that it's always a more successful child
Right.
when at least one person stays at home. Okay, now.
Okay.
The personalities of men and women are very different, and this is the thing where.
But I think this is the conversation.
Correct. So this is the personalities, and you can argue and say that men can do what women do, and women can do what men do, and to a certain extent, yes. Generally speaking, yes. However, there's also a matter of women are more people seeking,
Okay.
and men are more things oriented. So their thought process is very different. And you can listen to Jordan Peterson, who talks about this like to death about the differences between men and women. And
Jordan Peterson is somebody that is controversial, right?
Yes.
He was a university professor.
He's a university professor at UFC.
He was kicked
up
out.
until recently.
Yeah.
I don't think he was kicked out. It was it ended up being that he was I guess he left the university to pursue better and more adventurous things in his life. But there was a controversy around him when he basically refused to admit that there's a non-binary part to genders. Right.
So do you believe that
there's gender roles?
There's roles. There are differences.
There's definite differences, and it's not just biology where it's like I have a vagina and you have a penis, right? But there's a difference, and they see that in for example, Scandinavia, and this is what Jordan Peterson talks about all the time, where they've totally taken out the elements of boys play with trucks and cars and whatever, and girls play with dolls and Barbies and home whatever. And they've sort of left the kids to make their own decision. And there is no like, oh, I'm gonna target, the Barbies and whatever to my kids, my daughter and my son.
So what ended up happening with that research?
So what ended up happening is that the boys, generally speaking, anyways ended up going to what we associate as a normal target role for a male, right? Which is to be like the engineers and the like construction. It was a normal place.
But is it due to their physicality?
No.
Because like when men and women play basketball.
No, because the mentality of the men and women are different.
Okay.
Women are more interested in people, which is why you normally see them becoming teachers, doctors, nurses, and men are more interested in things, which is why you see them becoming engineers, business owners, like most often, right? Generally speaking. And that is, it's not just a matter of you have a penis and testosterone and I have a vagina and estrogen, right? It's a matter of like, just generally speaking, there's a certain normalcy that targets us to go to these types of things.
Okay, so I'm a guy, and I think I'm very manly. Well, I think I'm very manly in the way I play sports. I think I'm a sporty guy in some ways and physically, but the thing is that I'm a people person. So like I'm an educator and I like to work with people. So, and I've never in my life thought about being a builder, or I was never interested in cars. I got my first car when I was like 28 years old.
Right.
Like I never had these interests. But I always knew that there was something about me that was different than my sister. She was very much, she's more sensitive.
Right.
The way her behavior was different. Like, I work now with kids, and I can tell you the difference between the boys and the girls.
100%.
Like I personally would rather work with girls. Personally, because
they're
calmer.
generally more pleasing.
They're calmer, you can entertain them a lot faster just by saying something sweet
because
to them.
the personality
Right.
of a girl usually tends to be, I'd like to please you.
Right. Well, if that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
The boys, like, it's about me. It's like, let's do something fun. Like,
I'd like
engage
to prove
me.
myself.
Like,
Yeah.
let's, we need to do something. I need to
Right.
be very, like, when I work with men, I have to be always a lot more active than I am with females.
Right.
But it's
Because-
just something I've noticed.
And exactly, but this is exactly my point. So this is why I said, is generally speaking, you'll see that women will, generally speaking,
Yeah.
go towards people-pleasing professions, and men will go towards things, right? Generally speaking, not to say that there isn't the oddity or the
Right.
whatever, where men will go into teaching, or men will go into nursing. And not to say that there isn't men nurses or female engineers. Of course there is. My next door neighbor is a
Right.
female engineer, and she's a wonderful woman,
Right.
right? But generally speaking, when you go to an engineering program of any kind, you'll normally see men.
Right.
You'll normally see women in the nursing, in the dental hygiene, in the dental schools, in law.
But here's something I
they're
wanted,
more interested in
I wanted to
people.
bring up this thing. So I worked for a very short period of time as a kindergarten teacher. And
Jesus.
yeah, and like I loved working with the kids, and I kind of enjoyed the atmosphere. I don't think I left because of anything really specific, or actually there was something very specific. But it wasn't because of the kindergarten. But the entire time the women were talking about me because I was a male, and the parents were having problems because I was a male, and I just felt the sexism,
Correct.
and it was hurting my Yeah, I mean I'm not that sensitive, but I could feel it. I could feel that energy when a mother would come up to me and go, look, I don't really want you to wipe my daughter's bum, and I'll be like, you think I wake up in the morning like thinking about wiping your daughter's bum? I don't want to do it either, but that's a part of the job. The kid can't clean herself unless you come here and do it. I have to do it.
Right.
There's nothing I could do. There's cameras everywhere. The last thing I want to do is be involved in this. I've gone through the police check and everything. Like, you have to, at some point you have to trust me. And now I know what it's like to be a parent, meaning like I could see that for them they'll be scared, but there were so many obstacles. And I think that if this was reversed, I could have had lawsuits against the kindergarten and how I was treated. And I heard some of the stuff that some of the other teachers were saying. Like they were telling me, how come the kids liked me more? How come they were coming up to me? What was I doing to get them to come to me? And it's just that's my personality. The kids are having fun and they're seeing a male be there, and it is different for them, right? Like they can play with me different. Like I do, the robot for them. Like I do something that a woman cannot bring to the table. But if I were to say that I really have a problem with with the way we're running today in terms of like the way the kindergartens are run, people will tell me, well, that's just the way it is. But if I would have said that to a woman about any other job and said, well, that's just the way it is, I'm going to get a talking to. So how is this fair that one side can play the role and the other one can't?
Well, so this is, I think, where both you and I agree very much, because the new feminist movement is all about the female voice and talking about how toxic male is, right? And yes, there's a certain hate, I would say, even.
Is it victimization? I mean, like, is it because they've been victims for so long
But
that now it's just like anything?
But I hate. No, I would not agree to that, because I don't think that for a long time we can justify that we were victims. Like, you're talking about women had the right to vote way long before slavery ended, and I don't look at African American people as anything other than people.
Yeah.
To me, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't see that difference, and I think most men don't see that difference. So I think it's very dangerous road that we're on when we're talking about toxic masculinity, and we're talking about the things that you could do because you're a male. Like, automatically, so just because you have a penis, you're gonna rape that kindergarten.
But that's
why? What justified that? Like, what did you do to justify that type of criticism of you?
Right.
Because you were born a man? And this is exactly the type of concerns that I have with my son being raised. Because I'll tell you a story. There was a friend of mine who shared with me, her son was on a school bus to go to school. He learned from one of his friends a word in Russian. He's not Russian, and he said it, I think in his boots or something. I don't know. I don't remember the story vividly, but he said it to the girl. The girl obviously complained to the school bus or one of the administrators, whatever. And then mom got the phone call saying, your son, who's like 8 or 9 years old, come on, like, didn't even reach puberty, is being a toxic masculine and is sexually harassing girls.
Like, to use that type of language.
And
like
I'm like,
sexually harassing, like,
and I'm like,
when you're talking
what?
about a child, it's.
But he didn't even know what he was saying. He thought he was saying something funny,
right.
Or even if he knew what he was saying,
right.
How do you take that into a sexual harassment? And this is another thing, and I don't know if it's a matter of this topic at this point, but sexual harassment has lost its meaning in so many ways,
right?
And it's terrifying, right? Where you're seeing a man potentially hitting. So you're single, right?
Yep.
If you were to see me at a bar. By the way, but if you were to see me at a bar and you're interested in striking a conversation, maybe you're not the smoothest guy, right? Maybe you're going to say something and maybe I'm not going to be so into you. So can I just blame you for being a sexual harasser at this point? Like, what categorizes as sexual harassment these days? Because this is precisely the problem. So even for myself, like, I hang around a lot of guys, and I love male company way more than female, and maybe that makes me a sexist as well. But if a guy likes me, it doesn't matter if I'm married or not. That's not a point of the story at this point. But if a guy hits on me and says, "Hey, like I'd like to buy you a drink," or you look really hot right now, why is that a sexual harassment versus just, "Hey, thanks for the compliment. I'm not interested," and let's end it there. The question is, once I say, no, I'm not interested, and you're still pushing, and you're still inserting yourself, then yeah, that's a bigger problem.
But you're talking about like the bar scene, for example.
Correct,
right? So,
yeah.
I mean, we still have to go and buy women drinks.
Right.
Like, so there's this expectation of us still going out there doing the man thing.
So where's
hunt.
Where's the sexual equality?
So it's like all of a sudden, like, I mean, how come I don't see women going out buying drinks?
I would have that.
How come?
Does anybody have any?
Right. So like the idea behind this is that women are getting deservedly so certain things that they're getting that they haven't had before. I'm all for it. Again, the workforce. I think that's a big one. By the way, I grew up in a household where my mom worked and my dad worked.
There's I don't know all the stats. Unfortunately, I didn't bring anything with me, but there's been proven reasons why in the Western world women usually get paid less than men, and it's usually because they take either a leave of absence, maybe their lifestyle changed, and unfortunately, it's becoming later and later in their years of. However, if you're looking at a male executive and a female executive that are in the same company with the Western world society, I'm not talking about everywhere in the world, obviously, but if you're looking at a male and a female that have chosen the same path, have never taken time off, sort of like the female decided not to have children, this is her life, right? You will not see the differentiation of the pay, right? So to say you don't see that.
See, I don't know those statistics. So
you don't see
the only numbers I hear is that women get, in the workforce, especially when it comes to high end, they don't get the same thing. And I feel personally, again, as a human being,
that shouldn't
why
be.
they should be getting paid the same thing for the same job.
So here I'll give you another example. Women, and this is true, and this has been studied. Women are more agreeable than men. So more often than not, when I'll go for a job interview,
true?
Yes, 100%.
You just proved it.
It is. Thanks. So, and I'll give you an example, and it happened to me, and it didn't even occur to me until after I started, sort of like, in hindsight. But I used to work at Georgian College. I went to get a job, went for the interview. They offered me, and I thought it was fair, so I just agreed.
Yeah.
And then I got my friend who practices a little bit longer than me in the profession, but has less experience than me in the school, right? So there's pros and cons for both of us. My resume was a lot bigger in the sense of like what I've done in the profession. His was a lot narrower, but anyway, male.
Yeah.
He shows up to the job interview. They offered him something. He didn't agree. He rejected the offer and asked for more, and they ended up agreeing. So it goes to show us that, like, and again, I can only speak on my experience, but it's been shown across the board that women tend to usually agree
But I want to
to
ask
the
you,
offers.
is there a reason for it? Because for a woman to go get a job sometimes, sometimes it's hard for women to get those high position jobs. So maybe women feel like, look, I don't, I'll agree so we don't have a situation, like let's just move forward. Like I want it to be more smooth. Whereas a man, like, well, I'll probably get more opportunities.
No, because if
so
you
I have
look
to
at
be
the,
more aggressive.
I would agree with you if you were to use that as an example for executives in banks and whatever, like marketing, whatever, right? But if you're talking about school, it's overwhelmingly a female dominated profession.
Yeah.
Any school, we're talking about all the way from pre-kindergarten, elementary, high school, colleges and universities, it's predominantly dominated by women. And that includes administrations on top as well. Where you don't see necessarily the same equality is in potentially engineering, but then you would say, so the argument is about, equality of opportunity or equality of outcome, right? And this is what Jordan Peterson talks about a lot as well. So I'm all about equality of opportunity. So let's have the opportunity for everybody to get the same quality job, right? But you have to be the best person for that job.
But can we do the same type of work? I mean, do we, I'll give you an example of something a little bit different. When I worked for a company in Los Angeles, I remember they had to do this huge event where they do a fundraiser, and the executive asked me to go and like lift heavy boxes and to move things around. And I was just like, I have a back problem, and like at that time I had a really bad lower back issue that I was having trouble getting to work. And they were telling me, no, you have to. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's not a part of the job. I'm an educator. Why would I need to be lifting boxes? And they go, so you want the ladies to be lifting boxes? And I said, why are you even putting it out there? You need to hire a company to lift those boxes. Like, I didn't say for the women to do it. But at the same time, why can't they lift a small box to at least help out or do something? Why is it right away that the women can't do that type of job? Right?
So,
but if you would have asked them,
yeah,
they probably would have had the same type of attitude. Like, really? Ron's right there. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't have a problem
lifting the boxes.
But it was literally my back. But it was, the boss made me feel horrible over the fact that I said no to lifting the heavy boxes.
Right. So,
whereas this would have never happened if it was a woman.
Right. So you actually asked, the question is, can women do the same type of job that men? I think in general, yes. With a very hard, I'm not really sure, right? Because yes, there is definite differences in strengths and abilities, right? However, I think we're sort of stuck in a very, I wouldn't even say great, we want men to be men, but yet we want to neuter them and make them less of a man, so that women can catch up and be more of a man, which I'm not even sure why I would want to be more of a man. I don't want to be treated like a man. I want to be treated like a woman.
Right.
I love being a woman. I love being a woman. And yes, it has its downfalls. And yes, I got my period. And yes, I could get pregnant.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be a woman, that's for sure. 100%.
Right. But I love being a woman because I also get a man to make the move, right? I get the man.
But it's scary today. It's like, there are times where
for sure.
I think I'm a flirt and I talk and
right.
And there are many times where I feel like, oh my God, I think they're not really understanding where I'm coming from. I have to second guess myself. Whereas
it's terrifying.
In the past, I failed at trying to pick up this person, or it just didn't work out. But now I literally can feel that I'm being judged. Someone's thinking that I could do something bad for them, and I've never treated women badly in any
never
way.
Felt threatened by you.
It's not my character, right? But you don't know what that person's feeling, and I'll tell you an interesting story.
Does anybody have any feedback, by the way?
Right now, I'm not seeing people writing. They're just tuning in.
Okay.
Is there anybody? Anybody wrote any questions? You want to put out a question to the masses? Okay, well there you go. Robert just joined in. So
hi, honey.
So here's this. Where was I going? I have actually an interesting story about.
Sorry.
What were we talking about? I know.
We were talking about the you're flirting and then hitting on a woman and
yes. But I had a good one. I had a really good story. We went off topic. What was I talking about?
I don't know. That's what we were talking about. And you were going to say.
Okay, nonetheless, but
anyway,
somebody walked. Another thing. Somebody walked into my. Oh no, there you go. I remember this. I remember the story. So I had a friend that I met right after my divorce, and we were checking each other out. We were flirting with each other. Nothing happened, but with the internet today, send photos, people send things, you know how things kind of get, right? But the type of photos that I was receiving were clearly, more than just regular photos. Not, I wasn't the only one, who...
Sending?
It became just one of those like fun interactions, right? 21st century fun interaction on the internet. And we didn't speak for a little bit, and somehow down the line, we've agreed to go out for dinner. And she's like, "Oh, I want to bet," so she was going to pay for dinner. That was how it worked. This was an excuse for her to go out. So yeah, we didn't speak for a few weeks or a few months or whatnot, and we decided to go out. And I was out for dinner. I kind of brought back that old conversation that we've had because that was the last time we really talked. And out of the blue, she freaks out and starts yelling at me at the table. Now, clearly, I'm embarrassed because I don't think I said anything wrong, and it wasn't like this was the first time we were. I mean, if I were to open up my phone, you would be able to see the type of stuff that this person would send me. So for me to just ask something so simple and for her to freak out, what ended up happening was that somebody raped her the night before I took her out. True story. I'm not going to mention names, but somebody actually raped her the night before.
Wow.
And she was treating me like I was that person.
Okay.
I was in complete shock. Like, I didn't know what to do. But, like, this could have turned out to be pretty horrible on my end to even defend myself. If this even went out to the world. And I had no idea what she was talking about until later into I started figuring out. But then she's like, "You're just like everyone else. This is all you want from me," and blah, blah. And I'm like, "Yo, relax. Like, we're having a conversation. Like, stop. I don't even want to get into this." And then I started realizing that, like, I understand some of these women's fears. I get where it's coming from. I'm not that guy. Maybe I'm the person that this was said to.
Right.
But, like, the idea of somebody roofing someone's drink to try and get into their pants, that men are still doing it out there, like the idea of, the Bill Cosby's, of the world, like, that this thing is still happening. Women are still very, very vulnerable.
Right. So.
But it's guys like us who are getting the,
right.
the wrong end of the stick, or short end of the stick.
Okay, but you can say that about everybody, right? About both sexes. So yes, I mean it's completely unfortunate what happened to that lady, right? And I can't even put myself in her position. Have I been sexually harassed before? Yes, and not like, "Hey, lady, you look good." Like, I've been sexually harassed. I think a lot of women would be able to tell us that they've gone through
sexually harassed. I mean,
okay,
it's not.
But my point is, I can't even imagine what she's going through.
Right.
The fact that she was even able to get herself out of bed to sort of meet with you and have a male presence after an incident that happened to her is strength beyond belief, right? But yes, there's bad guys out there, but there's also bad girls out there.
Sure. There's
evil women, right? And in a lot of honesty, if you're ever able to look at the things that women are capable of doing, it is a lot harder than sometimes what men are capable of doing. And yes, there's horrible guys. There's guys that would rape, and guys that would hit a woman, and guys that would marry a woman and hit her and have kids with her and hit the kids, and there's horrible guys out there. But is it every guy?
No, definitely not.
I know for a fact it's not every guy. Yeah. I'm sitting beside a guy right now. I'm married to a guy. I'm raising a guy. It cannot be that every guy, like, there's wonderful guys out there. My dad is a wonderful guy. My brothers are wonderful guys. Eric from plumbing is from ENS.
Well, I don't know
plumbing
about,
is a great guy,
Eric so much.
Right? Like, there's great guys out there. And it's not fair to generalize just because you have a penis. You're automatically a rapist. It's absurd. It's crazy. It's terrifying to put you guys all into that category.
Well, that's the thing.
And then what are we doing to you guys?
We go out on a regular basis, and I'm telling you, it's very, very difficult for us to have these conversations. And I'm someone that has conversations on a regular basis, and I always have to hold myself back, and it's like literally dating on eggshells. Like, I'm worried about how she's going to take it. So, and sometimes you feel there's chemistry and you're going along with it, and boom, you said one word that's kind of like a trigger word, and that's it, it's over. And the problem that we're facing today is, especially me, like, I'm in the education world. I'm not allowed to fight. I'm not allowed to be arrested. I'm not allowed to be, like, if there's anything that happens, and the problem is, a lot of it is just pure accusations.
Yeah.
And now I have to sit there and prove myself otherwise to the most ridiculous accusations.
Right. It's beautiful that you brought that up. Okay.
Yeah, of course.
So, it's in the judicial system, right? Like, in the government, in law, right? You're innocent until proven guilty. But it seems like any time, like I can leave the room right now. So I'm with Ron, and there's a gentleman by the name of Anthony behind the screen, right? There's two guys and not one girl. I can easily leave the room now and say, one of you guys raped me.
Right.
And now it's on to you guys to prove otherwise.
Absolutely.
So what happened to innocent who are proven guilty? Because now it's reversed, right? Now it's you're guilty until you proved yourself innocent. That's crazy to me.
And it's not just that. What is your punishment? What is your punishment?
Nothing.
Like my punishment would be
Nothing.
losing. You know. By the way, after even if I'm acquitted.
Yes.
Even if I'm acquitted,
Right.
even if nothing, the idea of the word rape connecting to me, done. Forget it. You think I'm knocking on your, to teach your kids?
Never.
There's no way.
Never.
And that's a big problem that we're not. So when you think, I'm going to take us back because I want to know the history. When do you think this actually started? Those big changes. Was it when women started burning bras and saying we want equality?
No, because.
Or was it like?
So.
Because we expected these things from Hollywood. We know,
a
woman to get to the top. There were times where she would have to go down on her knees. That was just, and it was understood. It was like I remember being in Hollywood and people literally saying like, "What is a casting couch? What do you think it's all about?" Oh, by the way, the guy is gay. Like maybe make some, like wink at him or something like that to try and get the job. And it's like, really? Yeah, sometimes that's how it works.
So we cannot deny or hate on the fact that sex is strength, right? Like sexuality and strength is sex is about presence of strength, right? If you are having sex with someone, it is about dominating that other person, even in the act,
depending
right? Even if it's consensual, doesn't matter. Then she's the one who's trying to dominate you, or you're trying to dominate her, or her and her, or him and him. I don't care. Happy Pride, by the way.
Yeah.
But it's a big thing. Sex is strength. It is about dominating. It's dirty sometimes. Okay. So what? Like, I don't know what happened.
You're getting me excited over nothing. I'm glad the pillow is in this place. Finally came in handy. It's no longer exciting. Yeah. No. But I understand what you're saying. That my thing is, my question really is where did it come from? At what point did we as society say, okay, this is right, this is wrong. You can't say this, you can't say that. Like that, all of a sudden there's all these rules that in some ways now, okay, you're trying to make women feel more protected. You're trying to now be there for them, but you're hurting the opposite side. You're not fixing a problem. You're just creating a new one. But no, you're creating a new problem.
Yes, you are.
So
you're creating a massive problem. So, okay, as a woman, I'm lucky I've never had to deal with this issue because I got married quite young, never really had to go through the dating scene, never had to deal with all of that stuff. However, I do observe my girlfriends going out, trying to meet a guy, all of that stuff. And their biggest complaints is, I don't find a man who opens the doors, treats me like a lady, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I mean that's awful. That's like I'm married now 12 years. I've been with him 6 years before that. It's almost 20 years we've been together, and he still treats me like a lady. Still holds the door open for me, and we're raising my son to do that as well, right? However, men are refusing to do these days. Some men.
Do you believe that?
Yeah, some men
I don't know if.
And I'll give you a story. So I actually used to.
By the way, I always open the door. I always stand up, for somebody in the subway. Like, it's. I was brought up this way. And
so how old is your mom today?
60.
And she's raised you, right?
Yeah, but
it's an immigrant mom, right? Okay. So there's different values that came along with that. There's also the fact that she's a she is more of a conservative lifestyle, like a mom.
But I don't think that it's just the way they raise. I think it was just kind of.
It is though.
It's like
it's an influence of society, and it's an influence from your home.
Okay.
Right? Like, so I'll give you a little story. Right? I used to be friends with this guy. I went to see him at his apartment. Lived downtown. We walked out to have a drink or to eat out or whatever. There was a lady coming in with shopping from the grocery store. He walked out first. Right? My assumption is he's going to hold the door, I'm going to get out because I'm in her way, and she's going to come in while he's holding the door. Not only did he not hold the door for me, he didn't hold the door for her.
Right.
And it's like,
well,
what happened?
But here's how I see this world, by the way. Women don't hold the doors for us.
I
They're
know.
walking right behind you.
Or they don't even say thank you.
Nothing.
They don't even say thank
It's
you.
expected for me to hold the door. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm totally okay, and I'm actually sometimes okay not saying thank you. But how many times I walk right behind women, and they would not. Older women, forget about it. Forget about it. I mean, if we're talking older, like we're talking like a 50, 60, 70-year-old woman, no way she's holding the door for me.
Right.
And I'm always like, why? Like, why? Why can't you just be a human being? Forget this male, female.
Right.
As human beings, we should be nice to each other. Yes, if I'm in front of you, I open the door, please walk in, or or hold the door for everyone.
So this would be my question to any of the feminists that are watching here today, or any of the male who consider this feminist, like our amazing Prime Minister Joseph Trudeau.
I'm sure we're gonna have good conversations about that. Okay.
But so what do you guys want? Because the feminists out there, do you want the guy to treat you like a lady that opens the door, pays for the meal, takes you out for a nice dinner, walks you to your door because you're scared of walking by yourself, and then at the same time you want the equality of what?
So is this a saying like you want the cake and eat it too? Is that
That's what
is that really
like
what society's like it's come to?
That's what
to
I
a
feel
point
like.
where I want all these amazing things. So I want so I cook and I clean. And why? I lived alone and I had to do these things.
Right.
No one would cook for me, no one would clean for me, so I had to take care of myself. And I learned how to do it and I did it properly. I come into a household, so I'll tell you a little bit about my personal story when I was married. So my ex-wife's family, they are a little bit more old school in some of their ways. So which means when I would help out on Friday night in the kitchen, they would tell me to get out of the kitchen right away when the guests are there because they don't want to see a man in the kitchen.
Okay.
And I always felt like, you guys are like a backward.
It's ridiculous.
You guys are a backward society. Like I'm going to be eating this
Top
food,
chefs are all
and I'm trying to assist. No, but there's something that brings me down. Or like I remember once I was cleaning, and they were like, "You do not want to clean when people come." And I'm like, "You must be out of your mind. This is my house. What do you mean I'm not going to clean my own house? I'm responsible for cleaning this place. It's mine." The point is, my ex at the time had, she would rather me not clean and not cook and not participate in all those things, but bringing a lot of money. So she wanted the real old school person. But it was kind of like, but I'm not that person. I am, like a worldly person. I do many, many different things.
Right.
I can bring in a little bit of money. I can, I'm really good with kids. I'm really good with helping out. I can cook. I can clean, meaning I can do a little bit of everything. But for her, it was like, I want you to do more of this, and this is what I want you to do.
Because that's a male role.
And in my mind, I'm like, what do you mean you want me to do this? Like, I never understood this, you want me to do this. Like, I am my own person. Like, I was cooking more than she was cooking in the house. I was cleaning more than she was cleaning in the house. Right? It wasn't like I wanted her to do more than I did. That's just the way it was. She worked longer hours, so I did more stuff around the house. And I felt it was great. But in her mind, it's like, I would rather sit at home the entire day, not go to work while you go to work all day, and I'll take care of everything else. And for me, it's like, I don't also want you to be that person either. I want you to be like people say 50-50 in the household.
Yeah.
No such thing as 50-50.
No,
it's 100-100. I give 100 of myself to what I can do, and you give 100. And if today that 100 is to go work all day long,
okay, so
that's what it is.
So my question is, who are we as a government, as a vocal feminist group, activists, whatever you want to say, to dictate how anybody's life should be, right? It's not about generalizing anybody, right? So I'll give you an example. My husband was in school while I finally, I got my license. He went to school to become a lawyer. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. I held the house together in a sense of finances because he was in school. Mm-hmm. And now the roles are totally reversed.
But how did people feel about that while he was in school and you were paying for everything? Did you ever hear what were, your ears bleeding, hearing certain things like?
Never to my face.
Okay.
I'm sure people talk all the time. Mm-hmm. I'm sure people judge. It's very interesting that we want to separate the roles of men and women, but at the same time, when we talk about, okay, so my husband and I are married. We have 2 kids together. Mm-hmm. If I decide to divorce him tomorrow, for whatever reason, the courts almost always defend with the woman and give me the kids, even if I'm the shittiest out of the 2 of us, right? And even if my husband can prove the fact that I'm the shittiest out of the both of us, right? it's almost always that the courts will side with the mom.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I'm looking around the neighborhood, and I'm friends with a lot of parents that my kids are the same age, and I have to say that more often than not, you see the dad as being the primary love, the primary caregiver, an amazing dad. Like, they don't deserve to be stricken away from that just because now you have so when are we equal, and when are you beneath me because now you have a penis? So do we want to be above men? Because I've never felt that way. I felt like there's an equality, there's a certain role that I can play in my family, there's a certain role that my husband can play in our family as well. And it's up to us to decide what and how it's going to work for us. The same way that two parents that decide to have full-time jobs, it's up to them to decide how it's going to work between the two of them. You cannot argue with the fact that having a parent stay behind, whether it's the dad or the mom, to be there for the kids, to provide that love, that attention, it's huge for the buildup of the children that we've decided to have together, right? But men are amazing. I don't know why we want to strike them down. I don't know why we want to make them less of a male. And you see that at schools too. You see that boys generally, now speaking, are falling behind in school. And it's not because they're not performing. It's just because they're different.
Right.
So
well, they're not allowing kids, and I'm noticing it. Like recess is I'm gonna say something, maybe it's stupid. Maybe someone in the audience would say, Ron, you're ridiculous, but this is what I feel. I feel like males need more recess time. I know it's something maybe, but we need a little bit more of the physical. And
generally speaking, yeah.
I'm noticing it.
Yes.
I could see that they just need to burn more energy.
Yes.
And it's like, yeah, and and then the kids come to class and they're still hyper, and they still need to lose that, craziness that they brought from the outside. But they now have to know something is wrong with this kid because he's not relaxed the minute he walks in here.
Right.
And there seems to be a problem where we're not understanding our children. We're not understanding what the difference between male and female. The only time that we're starting to understand is when someone's complaining about how they're being treated.
Correct.
But nobody's defending those boys. Nobody's defending
the males.
No one's defending the males today when it comes to like schools.
That's right.
About how they should be treated. Like, if you talk to almost every parent, they would say that school said that every boy has ADD.
Yeah.
Like, that's just the way they look at it. It's like, no, not everybody's got ADD, but yeah, they're kids. They have energy. They want to climb things. They want to touch things.
Right.
It's different. They can't just sit there quietly and just like, flirt, while talking about another boy or whatnot. It's a different dynamic.
Right.
And, but the way we're being raised today is that men are no longer, they're going to feel like what they're doing is bad.
Right.
That every time that they want to be themselves, they can't do that anymore. Like, there's the whole thing of when you see a beautiful girl, right? Back in the day, what would you do? Right? Or a guy, like give her a compliment. You whistle at her. It's like, and now it's like if you do
can't do that.
Oh my God! It's like, but I'm not trying to be a douche.
I'm throwing her a compliment.
Like, I'm trying to say, wow, you're beautiful.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Like, and right away, like, there's weird tension. Like, how could you do this? What is it? Catcalling?
Catcalling, yeah.
What is it?
Catcalling.
Catcalling. So it's like, it becomes, now, don't get me wrong, I get it. Being a woman probably sucks. If you're walking by a construction workers area, you're clearly getting it. But you know what? Some women wish they were getting catcalled. Some women wish that people gave them attention.
Okay, but I'm a woman. I don't think I'm the most beautiful, and I don't think I'm the ugliest, and I think I'm pretty average.
Pretty, very pretty. I like it.
Thank you. But it's a matter of if I don't want a guy to notice me, I can easily make it that a guy doesn't notice me.
Right.
If I want a guy to notice me, I can make a guy notice me. Right?
You bring up a very good subject here.
Right?
The clothes.
The clothes.
Now in schools, right? Ontario decided that no more like people can wear whatever they want to wear now.
Yeah.
What's going to happen now? All these girls are developing, right?
And
showing more and
too.
showing more of their. What's going to happen then? Like, we're going to get to a point where we're going to go.
So
we have to go all the way backwards.
Why are we trying to fix something that ain't broken? This is exactly my point. This is why we're talking about conservatism values per se, right? Like, why are we trying to fix something? There's a certain equality that we're working towards, and it's great. And I think the equality that we all need to strive for is equality of opportunity, not necessarily equality of outcome. Because if you're trying to say 50% of parliament will be female and 50% will be male,
that's ridiculous.
That's the outcome.
Yeah.
You cannot target for that, especially because there isn't enough even female MPPs to even be a part of the government.
No, it's ridiculous.
It's insane.
They're doing this. I mean, in the States, it's done a little bit differently. Like, right? Like, I remember going by Fairfax High in Los Angeles, and they used to bring buses, you know, like with black kids, like or people from like different neighborhoods into a particular neighborhood because they want to make sure they get to mix with each other, so they're not in one place. How is this a good thing? I don't know how this is. I don't know how this is a good thing.
Well, you're trying to force something that is not naturally occurring, right?
No, but you're messing with something.
Yes.
Like, look, maybe I'm on the other side of it. Maybe like, you know, I'm the guy from Fairfax neighborhood, right? But nobody has to take me on a bus to take me to a specific neighborhood.
Okay.
But there's something to be said about that. There were, you know, like for example, like a black person or an Hispanic or some minority. And I know I keep using black because it's just the way I think in terms of black, white. But no, what I'm saying is like someone who's a minority, you know, is getting a better opportunity than somebody who's, you know, got an education his entire life and his parents are rich based on, you know, in terms of grades. So let's just say right now I'm from a bad neighborhood and I have a B plus, and you're from a good neighborhood and you have an A. We're in the same level because I had it rougher.
No, but that's ridiculous.
But that's what it is.
I know,
that's
because
what it is.
That's opportunity. That's
so
equality of outcome instead of equality of opportunity.
But that's the thing. Like, it shouldn't be this way. Also, when it comes to the sexes, it's like
I agree.
It's like
100%.
Show us what you got. The bottom line. And I saw a post the other day. Somebody put it up, and it was a track, 3 women, 3 men, and the men. The 3 women had to go through like jump over a laundry detergent, jump over like a laundry basket. There was a baby that they had to probably feed, while the men had nothing like in front of them. Like there. So their opportunity, they're never going to get to the same place. But we all have our problems. We all have our struggles.
Right.
We all have, and we all have something to give this society. I just don't feel like that it's fair for us to, you know, say you're going to get it just because you were oppressed or something
right.
like that. Or because, you know, something happened to your ancestors in the past, so now you get a different opportunity.
So my question was, and I'm following through with you completely on this, because okay, I have 2 kids.
Yeah.
If, God forbid, something happened to my child, do I want the best paramedic or do I want the best female paramedic?
Right.
I want the best paramedic to show up at my door to help my child.
Right.
Right? I don't care if you have a vagina or you have a penis.
Right.
If you're the best for the job, that's who you should be. That's who should be there. That should be the person, right? I don't care if, and why are we constantly looking at numbers and stats and saying, oh, there's 50% of women in the firefighters and whatever, and there's like 80%. Okay, so why is there not more women in bricklanes or in
No, but are they looking at the same thing? Like, how come in schools?
Exactly.
How come you don't make it 50-50 in schools?
But that's
how come you don't make it?
right.
How about nursing? Right?
Exactly.
When was the last time you saw a male nurse?
Well, you see it more and more, but nonetheless.
But you think he's getting? But do you think he's getting that opportunity because he's a male?
No, because
he's getting the opportunity because.
But you know what ends up happening is you're a male nurse. You end up coming to your mother's care bed, right? And he's now needing to change her pads or whatever. And now you're weirded out that this young guy is changing your mother.
Yeah.
Like.
You know, it's funny when I think about a gynecologist. Somehow I don't think about a woman gynecologist.
No, you
don't.
I
somehow think about a man.
Right.
I mean, this is my mindset.
Right.
So you're telling me why is the woman going to the guy to literally touch her vagina? Because he's not.
Well, I don't think it's like.
No, but you know what I mean. Like you're not going there for that reason. Like I had when I turned 30, I think 36. You know, I was told that they need to do the
rectal.
Yeah. So they So I was like,
did you like it?
Let me tell you something. It helped. It helped that the doctor was super hot. It did definitely help. It was the only thing that kept me calm throughout the whole thing. But I felt different walking. But the point was like if that's the job, like what was the difference if man or a woman? Like this is for my health. It's got nothing to do. I didn't see it clearly as for jokes. I was like at least I got a really hot doctor, right? But that was more for the jokes. It wasn't for really what it was. But I feel like today, like we're just becoming overly sensitive, and we're complaining about every goddamn thing, and we always want to change and change and change and change but to a point that every time we change something, we're creating another problem. We're we fixed one thing, but like what happened to this? What happened to?
But why? We're not actually fixing it.
No, we're putting band-aids for sure.
We're not even putting band-aids. We're making it worse. We're making it worse for women, and we're making it worse for men. If I'm just the top of the females, but I'm not the top of everything, and you've now accepted me into med school, but now I can't compete with the men because they're clearly outdoing me, even in the performance at school. How are you doing me any good by putting me amongst something that I'm clearly incapable of competing with? It's not doing well to my psyche, to my emotional well-being. It's not doing well for anybody. It's detrimental, and it's bad for our society.
So where do you see society in like the next 20 years? Because we spoke privately about this issue.
Yes.
And you're worried for your son.
I'm worried for my kids. Yeah,
and
both my daughter as well. But yes,
you mentioned your son more than anything. Like
yes.
Usually our conversation. So,
yes.
What do you think is going to happen? Like, what do you think would happen in the next 20 years that if you continue to be a part of society?
Well,
how is your son like? What type of man you're going to have?
My concerns are there's really three possibilities for him to end up going into. One, he's going to follow with the neutering of the men that's happening right now, right? Which is like, let's give them less rights. Let's get them to not participate as men, right? Let's bring them down and make them defective women, basically, which is the worst outcome in my opinion. And second is that he's an alpha male, but ends up getting into a lot of trouble, both personally and in a legal way, right? And yes, it's terrifying, but it's not as scary to me as potentially neutering and ruining the manliness.
Can you give an example of like something that they're doing right now with your kid that you feel like it's literally neutering? Like, is there a specific example that maybe the audience can pick up on and go, okay, this is not right?
So I don't have anything specific because he's still so young, but I can only talk about the school system, right? So the school system, the way they treat boys is there's something wrong with them because they cannot sit for hours on end and do the same mundane situation, right? So winters in Canada are horrible, right? And it's getting worse with time, right? Not because the weather is getting worse, but because our policies are changing. So I think right now the policies are, if they're -10, the kids are not allowed to go outside, which is absurd because I think when you and I were even being raised. Yeah,
but I wish that I didn't have to go outside.
I know, but you're also thinking of yourself as a preteen or teen. Think about when you're a child, right? And you like the snow and you have the snow pants because you're not being judged about all of that stuff, right? So now the policy is -10 to go outside. They're not allowed to go outside, so they end up staying, but they can't go to the gym. They can't run around inside the school. They have to stay inside their classrooms, and their classrooms are, number one, there's an issue because if you don't get along with your classmates and your friends are in the other class, now you're screwed because you can't go talk to them. And second, you have to stay in your classroom, which you've been already in there for half the day. Now you have the rest of the day. Now you're stuck there in lunch recess, and you are supposed to play with board games. And with all due respect, I have a ton of board games, and my kids are bored of board games. Right?
I thought that's what they're called, board games. I swear to God.
I'm like, you cannot expect a child, and specifically an active boy, to keep doing the same thing. And I'm not saying that all, and I'm not saying all boys and all girls, right? There's definitely a generalization here, but I don't mean that every boy and every girl needs that. I've met boys that can sit on hours and do beads, like those melting beads, and I've seen girls who need to exert energy, right? But generally speaking, you'll see girls more than happy to build a puzzle quietly, or color, or exchange those little shop.
Okay, so let's forget about this boy-girl thing. Why don't we just like open it up and go, all right, who here wants to go and do, like go to the gym?
But they don't open the gym.
But that's the thing. Why don't they? Why don't they?
But the schools don't even open the gym, so it's not even an opportunity. Like, even if you were to open the gym and say, okay, all of my class goes in there for the next 10 minutes, right? And it's fine. The girls can sit in the corner if they want to and play with their Shopkins, right? Or the boys can take a ball and throw it around, whatever. Which, by the way, dodgeball is now being, like, cut out of completely. Yes, because apparently it's aggressive behavior, which is it's ridiculous. We all grew up with these things. Like I grew up in Israel where we had to come up with our own games because we didn't even have all of these things. And we're talking about an era of like no internet. It's not like we got information about what's happening in the United States, right? Like you have to open up a newspaper, and let's face it, no 5-year-old opens up a newspaper.
We had Chaye Sarah, which is kind of like a dodgeball, right?
Yes. Yeah, we had Sheva Avanim
yeah.
and like
Chamesh.
no Sheva.
Chamesh Avanim. That's the name. 5 drops. 5. You're saying 7, I'll tell you 5.
Yeah, it's I don't know. We're constantly trying to fix something that ain't broken, and we're constantly trying to come up with a.
Already, we're getting why with a pillow? Because we don't want to see the belly the way we're sitting down, Renata.
I spilled something.
We're getting some people out there, and also I'm wearing shorts. I didn't want to. I forgot to bring my pants. Do we have anybody out there like asking any particular questions as opposed to just saying funny things like Renat? Is there anything that we can scroll up to?
No.
No, nothing.
Something about Robert making the best chicken.
That's true. Robert does make really good chicken. His nickname is Dry Rub Rub.
Who is Robert?
Robert Salganov is a good friend of ours.
Oh, okay. He's on.
What happens is this is what happens during this time where friends see that they're watching the same show at the same time, so they're starting their own conversation. But really, we want to bring it out to you, the audience. Like, are you noticing a problem? What do you think we can do in order to fix it? Because in our opinion, I think we're in the same. Yeah. I think on this issue, we're very much alike. That there are different roles for males and females, not in terms of the workforce.
So I don't know who's watching exactly, but what's your fears for your own children, if you have any? Because I can tell you that my fear is that my son is going to be questioned a lot, put down because of his masculinity. And my fear is that my daughter will never find a masculine man. And that's a huge concern for me. But I'd like to know what you guys think. Okay, so, okay. They banned dodgeball. Okay, can you read that? I'm sorry, I can't read from over here. Yeah.
Sorry.
Again, why so?
Say what? They banned dodgeball? That will be the only sport I play with back to school.
Yeah, I mean, again, I didn't know about this because I don't
I'll
work
forward
with
through the article, but yes.
But it's what's getting ridiculous is I could see it, I could feel it, I could feel that like they're trying to take something away, and by they I mean the people in charge, the school system, the Trudeau and the government. You know, I don't want to bring him down because it's not really what the conversation's about. But the idea of how we have to interact with one another, like the fact, that just now, like parents can't say mother and father.
Right.
You.
So I feel that it's funny because
there's just so many of these little things that what do you mean I can't say that? What do you mean I can't?
So even more so than that.
How am I in trouble for this? I just don't get it.
I logged in today to fill in information for my kids' camp, the registration information, whatever, and I had to fill up and. So my son's information profile came up, and it was like his name, last name, date of birth, gender, and it was male, female, and other. And I was like, he's 7.
Yeah.
He has a penis.
But that's the thing. Some parents are like, oh, I need that other. Like, we must have it there. And it's
I know, but I think we're going on a wrong topic here because this is not exactly what we're talking about. But that's mental illness. That has nothing to do with biology. You were born with either a male gender or a female gender. There's nothing else in between, right? And I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of heat from this. And I don't care about how you live your own life. You can live however you like. I don't judge in a sense of like if you identify as a transgender. But I think that it's not as simple as now there is like a third gender. Right? Like there's a mental illness. There's something wrong. And it's not something to mock. It's something that we need to help.
No, but I think it's something that's okay. So I'm fixing something that's physical about me. Yeah, let's just say I'm fixing something, right? But that doesn't make me, just because I fixed something, not the person that I was. Meaning, just because I fixed my nose, if I'm going to have a kid, my kid will probably have my nose, not the new nose that I got. Meaning, clearly, that's a part of me. That's what I'm able to give. So, when we're talking about this particular issue, do people believe that? Like, I was dating a girl who is now with a girl who's like a man. I really don't understand what's going on there. But But I don't understand. Is she a woman? Like, does she see herself as a man?
That's
Does her partner see her as a man?
But
I just don't. To me, they're two women, and one acts more like the man. But is she a man? And if we were to have the conversation, she's like, why can't you call me by whatever it is that I want you to call me? Like, I'm not trying to disrespect you.
Right, but now we're putting limitation on free speech, and is that an acceptable thing?
But that's the thing. It's almost like saying, well, if I asked you to not call me Alex, but asked me to call me ShaRon, and this is how I want you to do, you should respect it.
Yes,
Right?
I should
that's
respect
how. But that's
it.
how they're. This is the.
But if and if I want to call, if I want to say you're fat,
Yeah. Then you have to
human
say-
rights tribunal,
Yeah.
like what?
No, but that's the thing. Today, yeah,
Yes,
you
I
actually,
know
you
you
actually
can. Of
say
course.
negative things about someone, and next
And
thing
now
you
I
know, they're-
hate you.
yeah.
Right.
And
And now it's go prove, Noah, that you didn't mean to hate
Yeah.
on Ron,
Right.
and say that he's now a fat Jew.
Right.
I didn't
But
say.
meanwhile, I already took the pillow down, right? But meanwhile, we have events that are happening around the city where people are calling for people's murders.
Yeah.
And that's free speech. But yet, if I were to talk to some person and said something that was hurtful,
Well,
then that could be a whole new.
so now we're going on a whole other topic.
Welcome to the Prickly Pear Show.
Prickly corner.
This is the Prickly Corner. That's right. But
Yes,
So
it's a whole.
Jenny typed again.
okay.
Okay, let's
Ooh,
read that.
I can see that.
She said, how are kids going to be ready to live in the real world when everything is an issue these days?
100%.
They're not.
They are banning everything. People can't speak their mind. These certain activities. We are becoming a society where everything is moved from high problems to every solution.
And it's funny
Yes.
because
Jenny,
it's literally it's fascist.
but she's 100%
We're
right.
but that's the thing. The more liberal we'll
Jenny,
become.
do you have any kids?
She has 2 kids.
2 kids.
Yeah,
I feel you. Boy, girl. Should
2
we
girls.
look them up?
2 girls.
Aw.
2 girls. Yeah.
I'm like, we need this shidduch already.
No, but anyways, what I wanted to say is that our society is really going to suffer in the future.
it's
like
suffering already.
right now I can feel it. I know that 20 years down the line, the next generation is really going to be dealing with a lot of problems.
Yes.
And some of these problems, the kids had nothing to do with, because the more we're trying to become progressive and liberal, and everything that we're doing, we actually are alienating
Yes.
the other side.
Yes, we are.
And it's almost like what is wrong what was once wrong is now right. What is right, as
So
opposed
you
to
want to? I will give you my my stand on things, and specifically about the gender issue and the rights and whatever spheres, right? So we live in a society in Canada, and we're lucky to live in the place of Canada, right? Where it's mostly peaceful, and it's changing, and this is the fear that I think we're all facing. But generally speaking,
those
it's
with our
peaceful.
eyes open, not
Yeah.
all.
But generally speaking, those that tune into shows like this that want and are hungry for information and are seeking certain things, right? But generally speaking, you're talking about a country that is overly safe. It's nice, it's pleasant to live in, right? There's certain communities that you strive to be in, right? You take pride in your community. It's wonderful. But is there threats? There's always threats.
Right.
There's threats everywhere. I don't necessarily have to leave my house for the fear of potentially getting raped by an intruder, right? Like, I don't necessarily need to walk around with my tits up hanging out and with a mini skirt to invite it in, right? And I'm not by any means suggesting that that's acceptable, right? Men and women should be able to control their hunger and their needs and
Absolutely.
their sexual needs, right? But okay, I'm a conservative and I'm proud of that. But I think that if I was able to carry a weapon, I don't think that you try to rape me, no matter how in control or not in control you are of your sexual desires, right? Doesn't matter if I'm walking around naked. If I have a pistol on me, you're not going to try to rape me. And if you do, I'm going to put a bullet in your eye, and we're done with this, right?
So what would happen now? I'm just putting it out there.
Yes.
I'm playing it a little bit devil's advocate.
Yes.
So you're a woman that is scared, and that's the reason you probably have the weapon. And now you have a fear that something's going to happen, but this person has no interest in doing whatever you think. But you got scared and you pull out the gun and you shoot this person.
But you can't. Okay, so
So you now shot a guy who
But
wasn't who you thought he was going to be.
You can't. But that's ridiculous, right?
Why?
Because you're not gonna just pull out a gun because you thought somebody's gonna come.
So I'll let you know. Whenever
this is a minority report situation.
No, but when I was a kid and I had a weapon on me, like sometimes you create like wooden knives as a kid or something, or when I was a kid at one time I got like a butterfly knife. Whenever I had it with me, somehow I felt this power. If anybody
did you pull it out?
No,
people randomly?
No,
That's
I didn't because a little bit of a brain. But if something would have happened where I would have felt maybe uneasy about something,
it doesn't necessarily have to be per se a weapon.
Yeah.
We used to be able to carry pepper spray. That's no longer allowed.
Wait, we can't do that?
No.
I have pepper spray.
That's no longer allowed. And I would love for my daughter, when she gets older and she has to go to university or college and she has to take the subway back and forth, for my own sanity, my own sake, my own quiet mind, why can't she have the pepper spray in her purse on standby? And if somebody attacks her, at most she sprays his eyes. Why is that an issue?
I don't know.
Or her, if somebody attacks her, I don't care who it is, male or female, right?
I don't think that should be an issue. I think we should be allowed to carry pepper spray. What do you mean? We're not allowed to carry pepper spray right now?
No, it's illegal to carry a pepper spray. It's considered a weapon.
But
Anthony, you can look that up.
That's kind of ridiculous. Okay, so how do we want to end off this part? So this is the type of segments that you guys are going to be seeing where we're going to be discussing specific issues. It's going to be a little bit different. I think we're going to limit it to maybe 15 minutes of conversation.
15 or 50?
I don't think we're going to need 50 minutes. I think 15 should be good.
Wow.
And we'll break down different types, maybe 20 minutes.
No, is right.
What?
No, is right.
Is she? You can't have it?
No, it's illegal.
It's illegal.
I have pepper spray in my car.
You can't have that. It's illegal. You get
Well,
pulled over. It's illegal.
And what happens then? So what happens?
It's considered a weapon. I don't know. I'm not a cop, so I don't know. But I know it's illegal. It's ridiculous.
Everything's illegal.
I know.
It's like
except weed. Weed is legal.
Right.
I'm just saying.
What's happening to us? No, honestly, I know we're laughing here, and
I know.
But this is serious. I feel that, and maybe there are people out there who think, everything is going to be all right. But right now, we can see that we're babying our kids. Right now, they're literally like in bubble wraps. You say something that offends them, it becomes a whole big issue.
So in all respect, I would like to say that to my generation of parents, so those that are having kids now, that their kids are in their elementary school years, we're trying to correct the wrong that the millennial generation was developed into, okay, from the baby boomers, which was the worst generation of all time. But we're trying to, I think as a general, I see it anyways in my kids' school and in the community, that we're trying to correct that, but we're creating other.
No, but that's the thing. We're creating a lot more.
A lot of other problems.
Right.
I don't like seeing, and I see that in my kids too sometimes, where they're now so involved in the political fight that the adults are trying to have, right? So I'll see shirts now at children's feminism rocks or something for girls, and it's why can't it just be girls rule?
Right.
Or whatever,
well, that's
right?
the thing. Kids can't be kids anymore.
No, it's we expect them to do.
That's the reality.
Yes.
We're not allowing them to grow up.
Right.
We're putting all these extra pressures on them that we didn't have as kids.
Yes.
And I think it has to do with the technology that we're using. We're literally creating a society with DVD, and then we're saying to them, but you can't act out. So meaning we're doing this to you right now, but there's nothing you can do about it. You still have to sit in this room. It's -10 out. By the way, I think it's a great idea. -10, you should stay in.
No.
Oh my God, I was a hall monitor just for that. Because I was
but that's your choice. But that's my point.
No, but it was freezing. It was. I could never it was so bad for me.
But that's my point. It's your choice. But I'm saying if you're forcing the kids to go outside, even if you don't like it, right? You're forcing the child now to relieve that stress, that anger, that anxiety, that build-up that he's had. Even if you're not happy, and it's actually even better if you're not happy about it, because your anger and your frustration is going to be outside. By the time you get inside, you've now calmed down, you've had an ability to breathe the fresh air. You need that time out from yourself, from that rule, even
from
if you're pissed. And there's a book, right? But Michael's snowsuit or something like that,
Okay.
whatever, right? And it's like Thomas's snowsuit, and how much he hates going outside because he has to put on his snowsuit, and he fights everybody and whatever. But then he goes outside, throws a snowball, and has fun, and comes back in, and whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like, why are we like monitoring everything? And we're
No,
not doing better.
but that's the thing.
We're not doing better.
We've become that.
Yeah.
We've opened the doors by saying that we're going to become more socially responsible, that we're going to be there for our kids.
For gender equality.
Right, but every time we say that, we hurt something else. Why don't we kind of talk about something else? Are you okay with? So this is it's
By the way, shout out to ENS Plumbing. If you need a plumber, that's who you'd call.
Look at this, right on cue. I love it. Wonderful. Don't forget that it's 416-821-4441. ENS Plumbing. Thank you to our sponsor.
The plumber I would use.
Well, in the afternoon,
Not like that.
coming in. It's funny. Every time I think about a plumber or a pizza mail guy, like I
porn.
right away I'm in the 1970s porn. No, but
Your pipes closed.
speaking of 1970s porn, it is
Jesus.
it is Pride Month.
Yes, it is.
So, what are you planning on doing like for Pride Month? Like, do you celebrate? Is this something that
No.
you don't celebrate at all?
No, because nobody celebrates the fact that I have sex with men.
Yeah, but so that's okay. Good. Okay, that's your thing. But it's you celebrate.
I celebrate every time I have sex with my husband. Yeah.
But you understand that it's got nothing to do with just that sexuality. It's about being who they are. It's kind of like right now.
But nobody celebrates the fact that I'm Noah.
But it's got.
I don't have a flag.
Yeah, but you can. You know what? If you got enough people who want to celebrate Noah, you can do the same thing. If you can get a permit.
With all due respect, I have friends and like they're wonderful and they're homosexuals and they identify and they're pride and they have their partners for a long time and they don't see the need to wave a flag.
They don't have to. I know a lot of. Okay, but I'm going to play devil's advocate, but I actually mean this. There's people who are Jewish and would not go to celebrate an Israel Day. You know, they just won't. But should there be an Israel Day? Yeah, there should be a day for us to celebrate our pride. I think.
But you're talking about Israel Day in the sense of existence.
Yeah, and I'm talking about pride as existence.
No, but
for them to say
but
we're
homosexuality
here,
has
we're
always
queer.
existed. If you're looking about Alexander the Great, he was a homosexual.
Okay.
Like there's homosexuality.
But being okay. Being open about it,
but
being free to be who they are.
But being okay is a matter of just not like it's not even a thing to talk about because I'm just okay with it.
Yeah, but it's not. That's because you're living also in this type of society.
No,
which is a little bit different.
No, it has nothing to do with the fact that I'm living in this society.
Well,
because the truth of the matter is, if you're going to anywhere in the world that does not accept homosexuality, like pretty much all the Muslim countries,
which tells you,
right? But we're not talking about people like that. We're talking about if you're, because of your religion or the people that are ruling the country, right, are not allowing you to be who you are, then that automatically should be your warning sign that this is not where you belong, right?
Right, but then again, they come here.
But if you come here, you don't need to celebrate the fact that you are who you are.
What's the difference?
Just be who you are.
What's the difference?
I don't care.
No, I mean, it's like if I'm
not against.
The community feels that it's important for them to celebrate. Celebrate, enjoy. You want a day? You want a month? Take a month, enjoy, have fun. More parties for us. It's all good.
So I don't have a problem with the parade. I don't have a problem with the flag. I just don't see the reason for it. Mm-hmm. Just like there's no flag for like I don't know. I'm like I don't know.
Right, but for the same thing. Like I remember, this was in high school.
There's no flag for all women with a double B boobs.
But there's a reason. There's a reason for all that. I remember when I was a kid, I wrote something on the wall like Jewish power, and for me it was kind of like this thing, like.
That's graffiti. That's bullshit.
No, but I didn't. No, but it was like on the wall, like in school, like it was.
That's graffiti.
No. That wasn't the point. It wasn't the point of what it was. It was the fact that I put that. And I remember a teacher came up to me and said, "Why are you writing this?" I'm like, "No, I'm proud to be Jewish." Like, why do you need to put it up? It's like, what if somebody wrote white power and they're proud to be white? I'm like, well, they're going to see it in a different way, and that's the problem. The regular folk, meaning those that.
But you just made my point exactly.
No, but why did I make your point?
Because if we're all equal, if we're all Homo sapiens, we're all people, right? We're all people.
But there's the problem.
I don't care who you have sex with.
No, but there's a problem. So
as long as
there's a fighter. There's a fighter I really used to like, and he used to have like a tattoo on his chest and says brown power. He's Mexican.
Okay.
And it says brown power. But when you're seeing that, you're not looking at it as anything racist. It's just him being proud of who he is.
Right.
But if you saw somebody put white power, even though now most likely he will write that based on hate, but like a white person could not write white power.
Right.
He can't get away with that.
Right. So why do gays need to have a parade to celebrate their?
It's not about a need. They want.
I know. So he wants to put white power.
But is there a difference between if they put white power?
Well, clearly society has a problem with that.
Right.
Right.
So meaning we could have like a sex parade, right? Like a normal sex parade.
But why do we need that?
We don't
Just
need it.
have sex.
But if enough people said they want it, then we could probably do something
it.
like that.
But so that's fine. I think the sex parade is the fact
I think it's about celebrating people for who they are. And celebrating, like they've gone through so much in their lives.
You don't need to. But you don't need.
I don't think there's. By the way, I've never been to one.
Okay, neither have I.
But it's not like I purposely didn't go.
I'm
just
not.
Never happened.
Like I don't care. It's the same thing that you would be able to say about the breast cancer run from CIBC, right? Like, is there a need for it? No.
Well, they need to raise money.
They need to raise money. They don't need to have the whole university shut down so that you can march, right? Or run or whatever. You don't need to have that.
Right.
I don't have a problem. Of course, I take part of that every year, right? For my own reasons. Mm-hmm. But there's no need to have the Green Pride Parade. But I just don't see the need of it in the sense of we're humans. I have no problem who you want to have sex with at any given time unless they're an adult and there's consensual. Then you can have sex with whoever you want.
Right, but is it a problem for you? Like
no, I don't care.
So it's just about I don't care.
No, I don't care at all.
But yet you just feel that there shouldn't be.
No, I think they should just take pride of who they are without having to advertise it.
But look,
it's the same thing with everything.
But look all over the city. You have, like I think today it's
Plus, it's
Portuguese.
now in the schools.
Today I think it's Portuguese. What's in the schools?
The flag.
Because within the schools you have people who are probably gay and feel that it's not normal for them.
Into the school.
But why not?
Because I don't think it's a conversation that needs to be had, especially in an elementary school.
I think it's a very important conversation to be had.
Because
if somebody is confused, if somebody feels that they're different.
Yes, but then there's the guidance counselors, there's all these administrators.
Yeah, but if you're normalizing it, and if you're saying that this is a part of regular society.
But you don't need to have a flag for it. It's enough to have a Canadian flag, which is all inclusive of both homosexuals and heterosexuals. Why is there a flag just for the homosexuals hanging proudly at the school?
Because they're proud.
Oh, great. I understand that you're proud, but I'm also proud of being a heterosexual.
Then you should talk to your heterosexual community and say, hey, we need to create a flag of our own.
But we
need to take it back.
We have the flag of Canada that is representative of all the people that live in Canada that are legal to be here.
Yeah, but there were times also that it didn't. Right? There were times.
I understand that.
Like that Canadian flag.
But now you're segregating the community completely, and this is exactly my point. Let's stop segregating men, women, homosexuals, transgenders. Who cares?
I don't know if that's actually segregating.
It's segregating.
I think right now it's an opportunity for people to feel proud of who they are, and they know that they can be openly gay, and they won't be judged.
Fine.
Because listen, I'll be honest about myself. When I was a kid in my teens, and if somebody would have called me a homosexual or anything like that, I'd probably lose. Like, that would be the worst thing. They could say my mom is a whore, maybe I'd let it go, but if they called me homosexual, I'd probably lose it. And today, looking back, I'm like, what an idiot I was. Over what?
Well, because the connotation at that time was very different than what it is today.
Well, but I didn't know anything about it.
I understand,
and the thing
but
is,
at the same time, it was very different.
But because it was very, very taboo.
I understand.
It was very taboo.
But this is exactly my point, and I think you're bringing it back to the same place, which is we've overcome all of those taboos, all of that bullshit.
But how did we overcome? But how did we overcome?
Clinches. I don't care. I have.
But wait, the gay pride, it didn't just happen yesterday. Meaning it's been in the last.
I understand, but my point is they fought the fight. They've achieved their right place in society, which they should have always had. Right.
Absolutely.
Right. It's not any different who you want to be with. It's not any. And again, stop.
To adult consenting of sex. Do what you want to do.
Do whatever you want to do. My point is, let's not segregate one sexual preference over another. People are people. People will choose to love whoever they choose to love.
Right.
However many people they choose to love. You can be in marriage and have an open marriage, right?
Yeah.
Like, who cares? It's between.
By the way, there might be something new in the future.
Right.
Where it'll be like people like non-monogamous families,
For
like
sure.
like celebrating some parade, people.
So
who,
my whole thing is like, we don't like, and I'm not saying we need or what. Like, my point of saying we don't need it is like, nobody clinches anymore, and those that do, I think those are the ones that are the problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, who cares if I see two guys kissing or two girls kissing or holding hands or
but 20
whatever.
years, 15 to 20
for
years
sure,
ago.
but we're not at that place anymore. We
Right.
don't
So
need that type
should
of,
we
like,
should we take it away? Should we no longer have the gay parade? We're okay. We've reached a certain.
No,
point,
I don't think
so
I
no
don't think
longer.
anybody per se needs to get involved in anything. I think any
I think
community.
we're freezing. I think it's happening again that it's freezing. You have are you noticing it, Anthony?
It says that the stream is okay, it's just because our internet can't see it. But
Uh-huh.
on my end, it says that it's green. It's still.
Got it. So it's internet.
I'm not per se saying like we need to take it away or whatever. I think any community, any type, right? It's the same thing when you see with the Jewish community that is organizing Israel's Day and Walk for Israel or whatever. If you get the permit and you have the right to do that, my point to the LGBTQZY whatever else letters they've added onto it,
Yeah.
right?
Two spirits, I think, is the new thing.
I'm not disrespecting them in any way. What I'm trying to say is that we don't need it because we're all people that you could choose to be with whoever you want to
Right.
be. You could be whoever you
But what
want
if they
to
say?
be.
But what if the community? But what if that community
says?
says we need it?
Fine.
We need it because we
Oh, and it
explain
doesn't bother me.
it's out
then.
there. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this is not about you.
No,
This is
no.
not about you. You
100%.
haven't been in our shoes. You don't know what we've gone
I get
through.
it.
We want to put it
So
out
if
there.
you want to have the gay pride parade,
Yeah.
I think it should also be inclusive of everyone, right?
That's
And now let's go
Oh, yeah,
into
yeah.
the fact that the gay pride parade, not necessarily just here, it's all over the Western world
Yeah.
because let's face it, homosexuality is not
It's
necessarily
become political.
accepted. It's become very
Very
political.
very political. Very.
I think in Washington D.C.
Yeah.
I think today I read the article that in Washington D.C. there was a bunch of Jewish
Yeah.
members
Mhm.
that
I
wanted to
read
go
that.
into the gay pride
Yeah.
parade.
They didn't
and
let them have the flags.
They didn't. So they had the Jewish star onto
The gay flag.
the gay flag,
Mhm.
and they didn't let them. They banned them in from going in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So much for tolerance.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
There's also they didn't want police officers, homosexual police
Oh, yeah.
officers coming
Yeah,
in,
yeah.
and this is in Toronto. They
Yeah.
didn't want them to do that.
Yeah.
So where's the inclusivity of that? And
Oh.
that's exactly what I'm trying to say is, so now you have this LGBTQ, and I'm sorry for all the other letters that I don't remember, right? That is creating this flag and this pride, and I think it's wonderful if you want to celebrate whoever you want to celebrate, but then just be inclusive to all. But then you're not being inclusive
Right.
to all. It's kind of like.
But those are the people with their own agendas
for sure.
who are running the show, and they should not be running the
For
show.
sure.
There are a lot of
But-
people out there. I mean, especially people that are watching today who are of that community, who are fighting the good fight to stop these discriminations from happening and to make the gay pride parade be about just being who you are
Right.
and
being
getting
inclusive.
getting the politics out of it.
Yes.
And police officers want to participate.
So I think in the past it used to be called the Gay Pride Parade, and
Yeah.
I think now it's changed
Pride.
to the Pride Parade,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And the reality of the situation, I think it was trying to be more inclusive in the sense of I'm proud to be with a man, and
Yeah.
you're proud to be with a woman, and we're just proud, everybody's proud,
Mhm.
and we're people, right? And that's wonderful in a theory, but the fact of the matter is that it's not necessarily
No, it
accepted
is not.
everywhere, right? And then we saw that in Washington D.C., we see that in Toronto, we see that all over the place, right? And that's a problem. Like, to me, that's the problem, right? It's like, where's the inclusivity? Why do we need to have a flag that represents one type of sexual preference, right? That's flying high up on the school. Proud, get it, but I'm also proud of being a heterosexual. Yes, it's considered normal because men and women create children, and just that's how, I don't know, if you want to say God, biology, whatever, created. But it's not.
No, I see your
And the
I see
truth
your
of the
point.
matter is that inclusivity and acceptance has completely lost its way. So even, and I know this is not our topic right now, but even when you're looking about pro-life, pro-abortion, people for choice,
Definitely not the conversation.
I know it's not the conversation for now, but it's very ironic to see when you're seeing a pro-lifer assassinate a doctor that performs abortion. It's like, so where are you in the pro-life scenario here? Because if you're pro-life, why are you assassinating this doctor?
Yeah.
Like, where is your pro-life theory in
Yeah.
this? Like, so it's the same thing.
Right.
Where's your inclusivity of the pride if you're not allowing
Right, like-
Jewish
Yeah.
people? Yeah.
Like,
So,
you know, like religious people, you're driving on Shabbat.
Yes.
In their area, you're
Yeah.
not supposed to be driving, but they'll throw the rock at your car,
Yeah.
and you're not supposed to be throwing rocks on Shabbat. So it's
You're not supposed to create any work.
Right.
That's their work.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. So
all right. So we talked about that. That's the one topic, and we leave on a positive note. The
Okay.
Toronto Raptors are
Playing
playing tomorrow for the final.
they're gonna win it,
I
guys.
can't believe I said the final game. Hopefully, it will be the final game.
Final game.
Now I
He's
am
not wrong. He's
well,
never wrong.
It's my friends will kill me. I am actually a Golden State
I know.
fan. So for those that don't know, I've been liking the Golden State fans since like around 2009. I've been following the team, and it just so happened that they were doing really well. But to be quite honest,
I hate Curry.
I feel really I love him.
I know
but-
he's great, but like I hate him because he's good.
Oh,
Like, he can do this
Yeah,
and,
no,
like, shoot it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
You always
I
listen.
hate him.
I hated. I grew up watching Michael Jordan, and I couldn't stand him. You know, even though I knew he's the best player on the
He's
planet,
so good.
but I hated him.
I hate him. But
Yeah.
I don't have a reason to. Like, he is a
No,
really
no,
nice
no.
guy,
You
generally.
always-
Like, you can see him
it's
in
a good
interviews
thing.
and
You
stuff.
only he has Hebrew tattoos. He's got 2 Hebrew tattoos on him, by the way. Something cool. You know, another reason to like him. But no, he's I like the Golden State Warriors, but there's something about I'm from Toronto, and like I feel like I need to cheer for Toronto, but I just never grew up liking the Toronto team. I like other teams. I like other players.
That's okay.
But
I
I'm
think
very
that's fine.
I'm very happy for Toronto. I'm very happy for the city. I am cheering for Toronto during these series. Really, when it happened, I just never thought Toronto was going to make it that far. I was an unbeliever that they were going to go that far until this year when they got Kawhi.
Eric from ENS Plumbing.
Yeah, don't sponsor because I'm not a true Raptor fan.
I'm just saying.
But I'm very happy for the
Best
city.
plumber, by the way.
I will go to celebrate downtown, and my friends have been giving me like hard time. They're
because
like,
you're a fake?
they're like, what do you mean you're gonna go celebrate? I'm like, what do you mean? I'm celebrating the city being up. When Golden State won, I couldn't go to any parade. I was living here. I was just happy for them, and there you go. It was done with. But-
So I think it's crazy again. Where's inclusivity? Like let it
No, but for
escalate
real,
again, right?
no, but my friends were like, what do you mean you're gonna go? And like, what do you mean? Did you
Yeah.
actually expect me to, like, while Toronto is celebrating, I won't go out? Now, yeah, I'm not gonna buy a Raptors jersey just because, like, even though I have 2 Raptor jerseys. But the point is, this is not the team that I follow, and I think the NBA, there's 29 other teams for other people to like.
So-
you have to love Toronto, like everyone else. How come you're not a Toronto fan? Because I'm not. Like, I don't know.
Okay,
why to
so
explain it.
I'm a Toronto fan,
Yeah.
but I'm definitely not as an avid fan
Right.
as Eric from ENS Plumbing, by
Right.
the way, great
Yeah.
plumber.
He's also a basketball coach, by the way.
Oh, there you go.
Eric, you're getting so much publicity today. It's great. All right.
That's how it should be,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
That's what happens when you sponsor the show.
Right.
But yeah, it's I'm not an avid fan like Eric is, but like we all have to be happy with the fact that who cares?
I don't know. I was made guilty, and so I created some sort of like
Drama?
cartoon.
You're such a drama queen.
It's not. It's just my.
You're a
I
drama
have
queen.
to
You
just
look-
respond
Urgh.
because I have to respond because I just feel bad about it because I do
Mas-
want Toronto to do well.
Toxic masculinity right here, guys.
Is that it? There's going to be a lot more
See,
happening
women
from
would
us.
not do that. They would just agree.
I definitely fight back. There's no question. You're never going to hear me agree right away. You have to prove a lot of things.
Hot Israeli women, hot-blooded Israeli women, would also fight, but nonetheless.
Right, but that's because of other reasons I'm not
Yeah.
going to get into because I'm going
you
to
know,
sound
we're
really
Israeli.
bad, and I'm single and I need to be on the good side of this. So this is what really the show is going to be about. We're going to bring a topic to the table,
Yes.
and we're going
Slightly
to
controversial.
somewhat debate it. I don't know if we're going to get the audience interaction because we are going to be shooting this and not doing it live. Do you want to do it live? Is that something that you're?
I'd love to get people's input.
But as you're seeing that, like they're talking about the plumber more than they're talking about the show itself.
Well, because he's a good plumber.
He is a good plumber, Eric Gelman, as the Eric of ENS Plumbing.
Like, so even those that tune in potentially after the show, I would love to get your input about how you feel about these types of topics versus just small.
Right. Well,
small things.
Well, listen, the raptor thing, the gay pride thing. I mean, they could become big issues.
Yeah.
Right. So anything really could, or anything really on the news could become big issues. But I think what you and I want to do is we want to spread as much information, ask as many questions as possible, to be able to get people really thinking.
Yeah.
I remember when I became a filmmaker, and one interviewer asked me like, why am I doing this? And I said, because I'd like to inform people and get them talking. And it wasn't so much about giving them the information, but like more presenting them with a question and showing them sort of how I'm answering it, but having their mind open up and asking more questions.
Right.
And I felt that people who go to film festivals usually want to receive the answers from the filmmaker themselves, as opposed to them doing the search. So I'm hoping that by having our dialogue, people will at least get two different perspectives on the similar issue. And maybe sometimes we'll agree with each other. But
I feel like, so when we talk off air
right.
and on our friendly conversations, more often than not we do agree, which is why I like the live show.
Right.
To have people.
Thank you, Rena. Thank you for loving the show.
To have their input
yeah.
and maybe even attack us at times, especially if they don't agree with us.
Well, I think we're going to get that.
I know. So, like, you and I talked a lot about the abortion topic
right.
offline and on our own. And I
think
know
you mostly talked, and I kind of just
I know, but I mean it's a very heated topic. It's probably one of the biggest topics since I would say slavery that was ever discussed. Right? It's one of the biggest conversations that the Western world is having. Right
now. Yes.
Right as of right now.
Yeah. It's very hot.
It's very hot, and it's very emotional, and it's very charged. But if we bring these types of topics up, how would the viewers?
Well, I think we'll both bring different perspectives because I'm a man, clearly, and
are you?
I feel like sometimes some of my opinions are irrelevant. I feel like sometimes when I talk about these issues, my voice.
But with all due respect, but this is the society that's created you that.
No.
Like, why don't you have a right? Okay, but we can't talk into this
right now. But it's not about not having a right.
I can force you into being a father, but I can't force you into having a right about what to do if I get pregnant.
Okay,
it's crazy. So, anyways, let's not talk into
this. No, but I'll give you a short example about it. I spoke about this person today. There's a gentleman that I know, a very educated person, and one day I'm going to bring him on the show. And he's somewhat of a marriage counselor, right? And he talks about the roles of women and men. You probably would have been great for today. Something the stuff that he says is like mind-boggling. And then you kind of go to him and go, "Where'd you get this information? Like, tell us a little bit about your wife and your experience." And he goes, "I've never been married." And there's something about it that the fact that I know that he's never been married and he's talking to me about marriage counseling, it's like, are you serious with me right now? Like, you bring nothing to the table. Like, you've not even gone through that experience.
But it doesn't make you an expert.
What do you mean it doesn't make you an expert?
Just because I've been married
doesn't
make me an expert.
It makes you somewhat of an expert.
It makes
expert on your not an expert. An expert on your own situation. Not an expert.
But
you've gone through something. No.
But that doesn't mean anything.
Agree. But it's something that I think
I've been
people are
married for now 12 years,
yeah.
and I think the only reason I've been married and I've had a successful marriage and that I love him and he loves me because I've married who I married. That doesn't make me an expert on marriage.
Well, no, you have to communicate. It's a way of communication.
But if you were to get married tomorrow, right? Inshallah.
Yeah. I don't need to get married tomorrow, but thank you.
If you were to get married tomorrow, who would I be to sit in front of you and say, "Well, Ron, you should really do this, and you should do that,"
great.
And then whoever, Consuela, you should do this.
So these are the types of conversations we're going to get into. So a lot of the time, it's going to be where we're not really in it. I remember with my ex-wife, her sister would treat her kids very weird. Like there were many things where I'd be like, "What are you doing to your kids? Like you can't treat them like this." She was like, "Talk to me when you have kids." And I know when something is wrong. I don't have to have kids to know that something is wrong.
That's right.
I don't have to have my driver's license to know that guy's driving like an idiot.
So Ben Shapiro says the same thing very well. Just because, so in society, if I see you beating your dog, for example,
Yeah.
right? I don't necessarily have a dog, but I see you beating a dog. I know it's wrong because morality teaches it's wrong, right? It's wrong. I don't need to be a dog or be an owner of a dog to know that what you're doing is wrong.
Right.
Right? So, yeah, you don't need to be a female with a uterus to have an opinion about abortion.
See, that's the thing, though.
Pro-choice.
I just feel like I have to be
Careful because
very careful.
But that's because of the society that
I don't know. I just feel like it's. Look, I don't know what it's, but at the same time, like women go through this, right? So for them to want to kill their own babies, it's kind of weird, right? Like
I can't believe you did that because I don't know how people are gonna react.
What? No, because meaning no, the women who like say who are okay with the abortion, right? Like for them, like it's in your body and it's your baby. And if
it's
you're
in your body.
It's in your body.
Not your body.
What do you mean it's not your body?
It's in your body. The baby is in your body.
We're gonna conclude because we're gonna get into this. So this is gonna be one of the main topics that we're gonna get into. That's okay. There you go. No, we have 3 people tuning in right now. Thank you very much for everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Anthony, behind the scenes.
Thank you, ENS Plumbing.
ENS Plumbing. Again, 416-821-4441. Thank you, Noah.
Thank you.
We're gonna have fun doing this. Still on the hunt to find a partner to sit here next to me when it comes to the Prickly Pear Show. If you think you have what it takes to come on and discuss various topics, have various challenges, please let us know because we're not going to fill it until we have someone that we know that can really make the show.
I nominate Renat. I like her.
Renat is, see, already she's nominating Renat.
I love you, Renat.
Yeah, she likes her. Did you notice this? Renat is a male. So, so already goes with the conversation that we had just before. So,
sorry, that's my bad.
No.
I get that all the time from
okay.
Noah.
It's okay because Renat is actually a girl's name and he knows it. And
yeah, just like
every
Noah.
time
that's okay.
Speaking of ShaRon, so I clearly I know what it's
that's
like.
True.
But I want to say again on behalf of the 2 of us and Anthony, and thank you to you, the audience, and thank you to Eric Gelman again of ENS Plumbing for sponsoring the show. Really appreciate it. If there's anything you guys want from us, any questions, please contact us at The Prickly Pear Show, or you can email us.
Well.
Yeah, definitely at thepricklypairshow@gmail.com. You can send us an email, or you can call me directly 416-326-9868. We've kept that number. Call, ask. If you want to be a guest, please let us know.
Sorry, Renat.
I am 100% man. You got yourself a Kafkazi man too.
I'm
like,
sorry.
You're really
I'm a Noah and he's a ShaRon.
It's okay. We all have unisex names except for Antonio Banderas over there. So again, on behalf of the crew, have yourself an amazing week. We look forward to seeing you next week. We're having actually an amazing guest that's coming in to tell his story. So very much look forward to next week's show.
Bye, guys.
Have a great day.